Hey, Warrior Saints, good morning. Happy Tuesday, Crucifixional live stream. Glad to have you beautiful people in with us. It's time to get some. We are still in the midst of the Warrior Saints Challenge. Remember, we put out a book. It's called The Way of the Warrior Saint, How to Live a Crucifixional Life. And you can order your copy at warriorsaints.org/book. And the challenge is that for the 40 days of Orthodox Lent, we are going to read a chapter and discuss, post, tell us what we think. We're also going to do exercise so that we can take care of not just the mind, but also the body. As we move closer to the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ, we are healthy in body and mind. So love to have you people participate. It's not too late. If you haven't started, start today. All right, so we're talking about monsters, and they're scary. The monster we're going to talk about today is called revenge. One of the things that we focus on in the Way of the Warrior Saint and in our movement is how to conquer monsters, right? How to overcome and how to fight the monsters that we face in our lives. When you visit warriorsaints.org and subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint, which you can find at warriorsaints.org. The library is filled with teaching about how to overcome monsters. And I'm not talking about dragons that fly in the air or balrogs that live beneath Mount Doom, Mount Dur, Baradur, whatever it was. I'm talking about monsters that you and I face in our lives daily. Today we're talking about revenge. And I was watching last night from an episode from season 7 of The Walking Dead. Now, for those who don't know what The Walking Dead is, it's a zombie apocalypse, imaginary fantasy put out by AMC. And it's really not about zombies as much as it's about the people who survived and their interactions with one another and their internal battles to keep at bay the very base human DNA, the base visceral reactions to the world, and to overcome and triumph by maintaining the sense of honor and duty and responsibility and values and compassion. It's an incredible struggle, and the personalities in the show really do a fabulous job. And in the episode I watched last night, two of the main characters who had been with us, one from the very first episode and one, a little bit later on, Abraham and Glenn, were when the main group of protagonists were surrounded and attacked by this evil band of people led by the evil Negan. That's his name, Negan. And Negan kills these two, Abraham and Glenn. And in a gruesome way, a very graphic way. If you're not into it, don't watch it. But it was They were helpless, right? The group, our protagonists, our main heroes and characters were helpless, and they had to watch. And the internal battle that they had to do, they had to submit. They ended up literally on their knees. I mean, it was bowing before this evil Negan and so on. And it was disturbing to me. And when I got into bed, it was bothering me, and I couldn't sleep from it as I kept thinking about it. And as I was honest with myself, I realized it wasn't that the characters died. The two of these main protagonists died. What bothered me, what kept me up, was that I wanted the hero to go get revenge on the evil Negan. I wanted him to do awful things to him. Now, this is a TV show, right? And it's about zombies. It's not real. But inside, I had those feelings of revenge, that desire to, I'm not going to be satisfied. And as soon as I'm done working today, I'm going home to watch the next episode because I want to see does the hero get revenge? Does he go and kill the bad guy who killed his friends? And I thought to myself as I was laying in bed, I'm like, how base am I? How visceral am I? How much am I listening to that carnal, animalistic DNA stuff inside me to go get him back? It wasn't like the tragic loss over the two characters. It was that my hero lost against another opponent, and he's got to go get revenge. And then as I said that to myself, I was like, I feel that way about a silly TV show. It's a good show, but it's a silly TV show. How many of us feel like that about life, right? Like real life. I know there are no zombies, but how many of us face challenges where we get put in a position of losing and we want revenge, whether that be to an estranged lover, whether that be to an ex-spouse, whether that be to a boss or a coworker or an employee, a teacher or a student, a friend. How many of us feel like I've got to get them back, right? That struggle and that monster to then avenge ourselves against another person. If you didn't say, yeah, I'm one of those people, then you're lying to nobody but yourself. We all struggle with that feeling of revenge. Certainly some more than others, but I mean, it's there. We all got to battle with it. And so how do we do that? How do we fight that? How do we stop and conquer the monster of revenge? It is very simple and extremely hard. You must be crucifixional. You want to beat revenge? You want to slay the dragon monster of revenge? You must be crucifixional. Now remember, crucifixional, it's very simple. We're imitating Christ on the cross. It's that we are setting aside our will so that we can make room to do God's will first. We are setting aside our desires and our needs so that we can take care of others first. Crucifixional means as Christ was crucified conquering death, so we too must be crucifixional and conquer monsters. In this case, revenge. And you say, well, what do you mean crucifixional to conquer revenge? It's that you've got to slay that terrible dragon inside of you that wants to get the other person back. And to do that, we're going to listen to the Apostle Paul. Listen to these beautiful words. This is crucifixion. This text that we're going to read from Romans 12 is crucifixional par excellence. As Greg and I were prepping, we were talking about, I'm like, this is the crux of it. Listen to what he says, Paul. This is Romans chapter 12. Verse 14, bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. Wait, what are you talking about, St. Paul? Like, as I was laying in bed thinking about this made-up zombie apocalypse movie, I'm like, go get him. What do you mean, don't curse? Bless the ones who persecute him? I mean, they humiliated him. They made him bow. They killed his friends. And you want him to bless them? Yeah, that's what Christ wants you to do. Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep, live in harmony. And listen to verse 17. Repay no one evil for evil, but take thought for what is noble in the sight of all. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? This is the same guy, same God who said an eye for an eye, a tooth for tooth, right? Didn't Christ come to change that? Didn't Christ come to change that? He came to change that. Do you understand? Inside of us, we have that desire to repay evil with evil, like for like, tit for tat. That's the desire that we have to fight against. To do that, you have to be crucifixional. Instead of giving evil, you bless. Brutal, because you don't want to do it, and that's okay. You're not supposed to want to do it, but you're supposed to want to do it, right? Like, that's the rub. Listen to the rest of this text. Beloved, this is the key verse, verse 19, 12:19. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. That's from Deuteronomy chapter 32. Don't pay back evil with evil. Let God deal with it. He may deal with them in a way that you and I don't understand. And if their heart is repentant, you and I may not know it, but God will know it. And he will forgive when necessary. He will handle any vengeance that there may be needed, right? It's not for you and I to be the sword of vengeance. Let God do that business, right? Now, you may disagree with me, but I'm just telling you what St. Paul said. So you can fight with him, great. But it's in the text, it's clear. He's quoting Deuteronomy. Let God, leave that stuff to God. And then it ends with this. No. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him drink. For by so doing, you will heap burning coals upon his head. Here's the message. He's saying to you, as we said earlier, that is crucifixional. He's telling you to take care of somebody who just did terrible things to you. For those who know The Walking Dead, it's like him asking Rick Grimes to care for Negan after he just killed Glenn and Abraham, right? And in a horrible and embarrassing and humiliating way. And Rick's supposed to turn around and say, oh, you're hungry, let me give you some food. Yes, at least according to God. Because we're asked to be different than the world. We're asked to be warrior saints, not normal. We're not asked to be like everybody else. We're not asked to be Republicans and Democrats and independents and libertarians and conservatives. We're not asked to be that stuff, right? We're asked to be warrior saints. And warrior saints do things a little bit differently. They do things crucifixionally, which says what? My will aside to make room for God's will. And God's will is no vengeance, repay no one evil for evil, I'll take care of it, and feed, bless, give drink to the thirsty, hungry, and the needy, and to your enemies, right? Do things that others can't do, just as Christ, in the greatest act of power of all time, the one who is above all, submitted himself to become mocked and beaten and scourged and die on a cross so that he could conquer the great monster, so must you and I do the very same thing and follow him. Hard as hell. I know it. It is. It's terrible. I hate it. Like I said, I laid in my bed last night losing sleep over a made-up TV show about zombies, which is not even real, and yet I struggled with it. So I know how it is in life. I mean, if it's like that in the silly dreams, then it is in real life. It's much more difficult. But I promise you this, and I'm not just throwing idle words here. You got to trust me on this. I do it. I try to live it in my own life. I also know that there's ample evidence of it all. If you do this and live your life crucifixionally, you will find yourself conquering those monsters. And in this case, revenge. Visit us, warriorsaints.org. Let us help you do it. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's why we exist. I mean, God put us here to do that, to help teach how to live this crucifixional life, how to imitate Christ in our own lives. Very simple. It's very easy. For those who don't know, the library is just it's exactly that. It is filled with video teachings about how to conquer our monsters, how to live crucifixionally, how to do God's will instead of our will, how to serve other instead of serve self. And they're done in a fun, laughable, loving, beautifully edited way, and it's great. We encourage you, join us. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Visit warriorsaints.org and join the way of the warrior saint. All right. Great stuff. We'll see you guys, you beautiful people, tomorrow. Remember, leave it to God. Show love to evil. Show kindness to hate. And you will be pouring heaping coals, meaning shaming those ones who offended you. You will be doing exactly what Christ asked us to do. It's time to get some warrior saints. And as always, until next time, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.